Hello, welcome to the Scary Time channel. Here you are going to hear the scariest stories from us. This story that I will tell you tonight will make your body hair stand on end. Now come with me until the end of the story. Our story tonight is about room 313. Room 313 inches. Jake was a traveling salesman who often stayed in different hotels. One rainy night, he checked into a small, old hotel off the highway. The receptionist looked at him strangely when he asked for a room. "All we have left is room 313, she said quietly. Jake didn't care. He was tired. He took the key and went upstairs. The room was normal: bed, TV, bathroom. But it felt off. Cold, even with the heater on. The lights flickered, and the air smelled like burnt hair. At 3:13 a.m., Jake woke up to the sound of whispering. He turned on the light, no one there. But the whispers grew louder, and came from inside the closet. He slowly opened the door. Empty. As he turned back to the bed, he saw it. In the mirror, there was a man standing behind him. Pale, wet, with hollow eyes. But when he looked around, nothing. Jake grabbed his things and ran downstairs. The receptionist was gone. Only a dusty photo sat on the desk. It showed a man, wet, pale, hollow-eyed, with the words underneath, "Missing since 1985, last seen in room 313. Jake's hands trembled as he dropped the photo. He backed away from the desk, heart pounding. The lobby was now eerily silent. No wind, no rain, no sound. Even the clock on the wall had stopped. At 3:13. He rushed to the front door, but it wouldn't open. Jammed, locked, like the hotel didn't want him to leave. Suddenly, the lights in the lobby flickered, just like in room 313. Then, footsteps upstairs. Slow, heavy, coming down the hallway. Jake looked up toward the staircase. A shadow appeared at the top step. It was the same man from the mirror. Jake turned and ran, trying every door, every window, but everything was sealed shut. He ended up back at his room, panting. Room 313's door was wide open. And inside, it was no longer the room he had entered earlier. The furniture was gone. The walls were covered in scratches. And the mirror was shattered, but still somehow reflecting. He saw himself. And behind him, the man again, smiling, reaching. The last thing Jake heard was a whisper in his ear. "You checked in, but you'll never check out." The next morning, room 313 was empty. But now, when guests stay in that hotel, some say they hear footsteps at night, and see a pale man in mirrors, watching. And if you look close enough at the old photo at the front desk, Jake's face has been added to it. A week passed. The hotel remained open, welcoming new guests every night. No one noticed anything strange, until a young couple checked into room 313, unaware of the dark story buried in its walls. That night, the woman woke up at exactly 3:13 a.m. The room felt cold, freezing, like the air had been sucked out. She glanced toward the mirror on the wall. It was fogged up, but she could see a face. Not hers. Not her partner's. Someone else. Watching. She shook her boyfriend awake. But he was staring at the mirror too, frozen in fear. They saw a message appear on the glass, slowly forming as if written by an invisible hand. "I'm still here." Panic set in. They grabbed their things and fled the room. When the hotel owner came to inspect room 313 the next morning, he found the mirror completely shattered and scratched into the wood behind it. Jake. 313. Forever. From that day on, room 313 was sealed shut. But the legend of the Hotel Mirror Man spread across town. Locals say if you ever stay at that hotel and wake at 3:13 a.m., don't look in the mirror. Because if you do, Jake will see you too. Even after sealing room 313, strange things kept happening at the hotel. One stormy night, a man showed up at the front desk, drenched and trembling. He said he had been driving past when his car broke down near the hotel. With no other place to go, he asked for a room. The owner warned him about room 313, but the man insisted, saying he only wanted a place to rest. The owner reluctantly gave him the key to room 313, thinking maybe the man wouldn't stay long. That night, the man didn't sleep. He heard whispers echoing through the walls and footsteps pacing the hallway outside. When he looked into the mirror, his reflection was distorted, his eyes looked hollow, and behind him, faint shadows moved. Suddenly, the door slammed shut. The temperature dropped so low his breath turned to mist. The whispers grew louder. "Jake wants company." The man tried to open the door but it was locked tight. Panic overwhelmed him as the shadows in the mirror began to take form, dark figures with empty eyes reaching out. At dawn, the owner found the man outside the hotel, pale and shaken. He refused to talk about what happened, only whispering, "Never trust the mirror." The hotel was shut down soon after, but locals say on certain nights, if you drive by, you can still see a faint light glowing from room 313, and sometimes, a face staring back at you from the window. Days passed, and no one dared enter room 313. The hotel sat abandoned, swallowed by overgrown weeds and shadowed by ancient trees. One evening, a curious teenager named Lily, fascinated by ghost stories, decided to explore the hotel. She sneaked inside, flashlight in hand, heart pounding with excitement and fear. When she reached room 313, the door creaked open on its own. Inside, the air was icy cold, and the faint whispers began again, growing into a chorus of voices begging for release. Lily saw the mirror, cracked, dusty, but still reflecting the room behind her. Suddenly, a pale hand reached out from the glass, grabbing her wrist. Frozen with terror, Lily struggled but then remembered the old hotel owner's warning, "Never trust the mirror." Summoning all her courage, she broke the mirror with a heavy chair. The room shuddered, the whispers faded, and the temperature rose. The shadows dissolved into light. Lily escaped just as the hotel collapsed inward, as if freed from a curse. From that day, no one ever heard of room 313 again, but some say if you walk past the ruins at midnight, you can still feel a gentle hand guiding you away from the darkness.